In the novels he had read in his past life, there were scenes like this not less than 8 out of 10. He thought that writing such a scene once was enough, and if it was written repeatedly it would be too dull. After all, in writing a novel, one should express something unique. At first, using a clichéd plot, isn't there a fear of reader fatigue? However, later Feng Xiao discovered that readers seem unlikely to tire of such scenes, rather they find it exhilarating to shout out after just one viewing. Well, where there is demand, there is supply. Feng Xiao had thought too lightly, but he never expected that one day he would encounter such a scenario himself. Feng Xiao couldn't help but sigh, realizing that if he had known such a clichéd scenario would arise, he might not have come here. However, it was also true that he had no choice but to be here. This story begins 7 days ago, when Feng Xiao encountered his past life in the Sansheng Tower, the renowned Zai He, one of the 3 princesses of Kayan Kun Palace, and learned some secrets about this world from her. The Princess of Zid then actively offered to reshape Feng Xiao's qualifications, but before he could react, she suddenly blacked out and fainted. She then fell into a long dream, where it seemed she lived a complete life, and at the end of the dream she vaguely heard a gentle voice say, "Senior brother, this path ultimately won't work." Then she woke up and carefully recalled the contents of her dream, only to realize that she had experienced many things in the dream, but now what was left? She couldn't remember anything except that gentle voice echoing in her mind, but she just couldn't recall the speaker's appearance, only feeling that the person was very familiar. After carefully sorting through his thoughts, Feng Xiao still couldn't recall the contents of his dream and could only sigh helplessly, deciding to focus on the present for now. She stood up, prepared to leave, but then she realized something was off. Here it is. Feng Xiao quickly activated the heavenly flower inspection, but found that even the heavenly flower inspection could only display a small portion of the surrounding situation. Outside this small area, it was pitch black, and Feng Xiao suddenly realized the trouble he was in. The heavenly flower inspection can often serve as an electronic map, but only if that area is first walked through. In simple terms, it's like being thrown into a new map in a strategy game. You have to explore again to gain visibility, which is a bit troublesome. Just as Feng Xiao was about to take off to explore the map, she suddenly felt dizzy and collapsed to the ground. At the beginning, Feng Xiao didn't understand what was happening, but after examining her body, she realized that the qualification reshaping had almost consumed all her true essence. Therefore, she needs to meditate and refine her tools to regain her strength. Such things are simple to say, but it's not the right time to do so. The reason is that she is alone here, without any protection, and meditating in the wilderness can easily attract attention or disturb passers-by. Once disturbed, one may either fall into madness or completely lose their cultivation. But without meditation and refining the tools, there's no way to recover. What should we do about this? After thinking for a while, Feng Xiao decided to check his body first to see what the situation was. This investigation was nothing serious, but it startled Feng Xiao so much that he nearly jumped on the spot. According to Zai He, the qualification that Feng Xiao has now reshaped is called the 6 Paths of Reincarnation body. 6 Paths of Reincarnation? She understands the 6 realms of reincarnation, but she does not understand it. This system has not been recorded anywhere, not even mentioned in legends. So Feng Xiao was also baffled. However, Zai He said, "This system is a unique and supreme system." This made Feng Xiao a bit curious. After some investigation, Feng Xiao immediately understood why Zid revered this system so highly. The so-called 6 realms of reincarnation can actually switch to other 6 systems at any time. Chun Chun has gone against the heavens. It belongs to fate. No matter how extraordinary someone else's system may be, It ultimately has its limits. However, within these 6 realms of reincarnation, there are 6 other types of systems included. With the 6 paths of reincarnation body itself, it's as if she possesses 7 types of bodies all on her own. 7 types of systems? Just asking, are you scared? Moreover, Feng Xiao also found that Zai He had thoughtfully chosen another 6 systems for her. These 6 systems are the all-encompassing Henmeng chaos body, the indomitable and supreme Jiayang golden body. The essence of all things is the mysterious body of the spirit, the self-circulating cycle of the 5 elements of life and death, the spirit-suppressing and evil-repelling entity, and the life-creating body that transcends life and death. Feng Xiao couldn't help but feel a mix of emotions. He suddenly realized that he was more like the protagonist than the protagonist himself. With 7 systems at his disposal, Feng Xiao was unsure whether to feel joy or worry. What is happiness? Can you do it freely? Timely switch systems. This means he can handle any situation with ease. What is you referring to? 7 systems mean that it requires 7 times the effort to cultivate. This is equivalent to a debuff that reduces the cultivation speed by 1/7. Fortunately, Feng Xiao's cultivated Kaienkan handbook is suitable for any physique. The refined true essence will not conflict with any system. The Kaienkan Baidian is like an all-purpose charger. The cultivated true essence is like a battery that can be used for any phone. With only this one battery, any phone can be started up instantly. This is getting interesting. Feng Xiao finally understood the prerequisite for reshaping qualifications after clarifying this point. It's time to cultivate the Kaienkan Sutra. Feng Xiao's current realm is still that of the celestial heaven, but it is only one step away from the golden Dan realm. It can even be said that if he sits in meditation now and channels his true energy for a while, he can naturally advance to the golden elixir stage. In order to recover quickly, Feng Xiao had to find a way to sit and cultivate his energy. After rummaging through his storage bag and storage ring, he was surprisingly lucky to find a few talismans. These few array symbols only need a few spirit stones to create the formation on the spot. The duration will be based on the number of spirit stones. Feng Xiao selected the invisibility, silence, and protection talismans to form a comprehensive formation. Then they found a secluded corner and set up the formation. Then he sat among them, meditating and cultivating his energy. This meditation lasted for 5 days and nights. 5 days later, Feng Xiao opened his eyes and let out a clear and joyful long howl. Jinden, it's done. The winged youth entering and exiting the realm of the golden elixir. I just feel refreshed and in a great mood. With 7 types of physique at his disposal, he even wanted to find someone immediately to give it a try. Let's see what his current fighting ability is like. But before he could be happy for long, he fell to the ground again. Feng Xiao, are you done yet? This time, he fell not due to depleted true essence, but because a flood of memories suddenly surged into his mind at that moment. At first, Feng Xiao, who was undergoing the memory wipe, did not understand what was happening. After reviewing those memories, he began to recall the pain in his own heart. He realized that all these memories came from Zi. Kaienkan sect as an ancient sect has a vast foundation. As one of the founders of Kaienkan Palace, Princess Zi is also a person of great talent. The Kaienkan treasures are derived from the principles of countless sects' techniques, which is why they possess the quality of encompassing all things. The person who can create such a technique must have extraordinary insight. And all these memories are the knowledge held by Zai He, which is life-threatening. The knowledge of the hero flooded into his mind, saving him time for learning, but also causing a sharp pain in his brain. He lay there holding his head for most of the day, gradually recovering from the memory wash, with the merging of memories still ongoing. Fortunately, the impact on his brain is no longer as severe as before, and he can now think. It's just that the brain is a bit slow, as if a lot of memory is being occupied, leaving only a little for running programs. From that day on, Feng Xiao felt dizzy and could not even sleep. Feng Xiao felt that once he closed his eyes, a multitude of thoughts would rush in as if watching 100 movies at once, both noisy and chaotic, leaving him more exhausted than if he hadn't slept at all. With no other choice, Feng Xiao could only try to stay awake until the memory fusion was complete, planning to remain in place while waiting for it to happen. But the next day, he unexpectedly met a local person at the 51st Canyon Gate. A tall, stunning woman in a light blue outfit caught sight of Feng Xiao and was momentarily stunned. Feng Xiao then drew his long sword without hesitation, pointed it at Feng Xiao, and asked, "Who are you, and why are you here?" Feng Xiao also wanted to know why he was here, and the woman's words made him unable to help but ask, "Is there something special about this place?" The woman casually observed Feng Xiao, then squinted and asked, "Don't you know where this is?" "I don't know. Please inform me." The girl remained silent for a moment before saying, "This is the sacred ground of my Canyon sect." Canyon sect? Feng Xiao thought about it. This sect? I've really never heard of it, but the upper realm and river realm are vast, spanning tens of thousands of miles, so it's normal for him not to have heard of some sects. But the problem is, this is just an unremarkable hill. How did it become a sacred place? Seeing Feng Xiao's puzzled expression, the woman couldn't help but ask, "Where do you come from? And why are you here?" Feng Xiao thought for a moment and replied, "I come from Dongzhou." The woman frowned. "Where is Dongzhou?" Feng Xiao was stunned. "How could you not have heard of such a large area like Dongzhou? What does this mean?" "No, could it be that I've crossed into another world?" But soon a look of realization appeared on the woman's face. "You can't be from the upper realm, can you?" "Feng Xiao Yi Zheng, could it be that this place is not the upper domain?" The woman shook her head. "Is this the southern region of the lower domain?" "Feng Xiao, it's over. How are we going to turn this around?" Upon learning that Feng Xiao came from the upper realm, the woman excitedly asked, "I didn't expect that you are a powerful figure from the upper realm." The young woman felt truly fortunate to meet the young master, and with that she bowed to Feng Xiao. Feng Xiao quickly returned the greeting to the young lady. Feng Xiao also did not wish to be so polite. He simply strayed into this place, and if there was any offense, please forgive him. The young woman waved her hand and said, "Young master, you're being too polite. This place is originally a communication point between the upper domain and the lower domain, so things from the upper domain occasionally come here. If it weren't for this, it wouldn't have become the sacred place of my Kangyun sect. However, I must say it's truly my first time seeing a living person fall from the upper realm to here." Feng Xiao said, "I can return to the upper realm from here," but the woman shook her head, indicating otherwise. Feng Xiao's evil nature emerged. The woman explained that the passage here seems to be one way. Our Kangyun sect has been established for 1,000 years, and in all this time I have never seen a passage appear, so I do not know if there is a way to reach the upper realm from here. We are only speculating that there might be a passage here based on the upper domain items that occasionally appear." Feng Xiao couldn't help but sigh. It seemed that returning would require another plan. As Feng Xiao was deep in thought, the woman stared at him without blinking, her eyes sparkling as if she had discovered a treasure. After a while, she gently asked, "Young Master Feng, since you have come here, it seems you are fated to be with our Kanyan sect. May I ask if you would be willing to visit us as a guest?" Feng Xiao asked, "Will this be too much of an interruption?" "Do not disturb, do not disturb." The woman quickly shook her head as a person from the upper domain. "Your profound cultivation is indeed a blessing for our Kenyan sect. You're too polite. In that case, I'll trouble you for a while." Thus Feng Xiao followed the woman to Kenyan Gate. Before completing the memory fusion, Feng Xiao's abilities were difficult to fully utilize. After all, due to limited memory, Feng Xiao decided to settle down at Kenyan Gate and also find out where there might be a passage back to the upper domain. After arriving at Kenyan Gate, Feng Xiao also learned some information. The girl's name is Luo Qishuing, the only daughter of Luo Qian, the leader of Kenyan sect, and also the saintess of Kenyan sect. Luo Qishuing's beauty is renowned far and wide, a stunning beauty with countless admirers in Kenyan sect, but she holds a noble status. Therefore, the vast majority of admirers can only bury their thoughts deep inside and dare not show even a hint on the surface. Therefore, Kenyan sect is one of the top 10 sects in the southern region, ranked in the middle to lower tier in terms of strength. The establishment of Kenyan sect originated from a martial art that appeared 1,000 years ago at the location where Feng Xiao manifested. With this technique from the upper realm, Kenyan sect leaped from a second-rate sect to one of the top 10 sects, and this place became a sacred site for Kenyan sect. For 1,000 years, things from the upper realm have occasionally fallen here, sometimes ammunition, sometimes a spiritual artifact, sometimes talismans, and sometimes a secret manual. So, no one knows why these things fell here, but there is no doubt that the fallen items are all top-quality treasures for the lower realm sects. Thus, this sacred place is a real opportunity for Kenyan's sect. After understanding the situation, Feng Xiao realized why Luo Qishuing was so enthusiastic towards him. After all, what could be more precious than a living person, especially one who might have many valuable things on them? Kenyan sect master Luo Qian learned about Feng Xiao's background. He warmly welcomed Feng Xiao. Feng Xiao was well versed in the ways of the world, and his eloquence impressed Luo Qian and Dawei, sparking some secret thoughts in their minds. That night, Luo Qishuing knocked on Feng Xiao's door. It was somewhat inappropriate for a man and a woman to be alone together. Therefore, Feng Xiao spent the evening in the courtyard chatting with Luo Qishuing, and during their conversation, Feng Xiao understood Luo Qishuing's main purpose. Luo Qishuing has a special constitution. After the age of 8, she periodically feels a chill throughout her body. In unbearable pain, Luo Tian sought renowned doctors everywhere, yet their treatments were baffling. The only certainty is that Luo Qishuing's unique constitution, combined with her lack of appropriate cultivation methods, led to this situation. The problem is, no one can tell what kind of constitution Luo Qishuing has. Therefore, it is impossible to talk about finding the right cultivation method. But at that moment, Feng Xiao appeared. In everyone's perception, the cultivation sects of the upper realm are far superior to those of the lower realm, and the techniques of the upper realm are not something the lower realm can match. Because Luo Qishuing believes that Feng Xiao from the upper domain might have a way to help him solve this problem. Hearing this, Feng Xiao switched his physique to the spirit object enlightenment body, then carefully observed Luo Qishuing with his discerning eyes. Upon closer inspection, Feng Xiao indeed discovered a problem. Luo Qishuing's constitution is known as Taying Chuanbing body, a type of extreme yin physique. With such an extreme physique, if one does not practice appropriate techniques, not only will the special abilities of the physique be wasted, but it may also endanger one's life. This constitution is extremely rare even in the upper realm. It's no wonder that no one in the lower realm knows originally. Feng Xiao couldn't help him with this. After merging with the memories of the Western River, Feng Shao no longer thought that way about how to cultivate the Taiying Xuanming body, because in the Z knowledge repository there are as many as 100,000 manuals, among which there are over 10,000 techniques. Among these thousands of techniques, there is indeed one suitable for cultivating the Taiying Xuanming body. However, Feng Shao didn't plan to reveal it so easily, but instead asked, "If I can help you solve this problem, what can you repay me with?" Yuo Qiushuang was taken aback. Suddenly, his face turned pale as he slowly said, "Young Master Feng, this humble girl has nothing but this body which has not yet been touched by others." Feng Shao slapped his forehead and said helplessly, "I'm not interested in your body. What I mean is, I can help you solve this problem, but on the condition that you become my disciple and go with me to Mount Yu." Feng Shao began to plan his next moves after leaving the Teiwei sect. His ambitions are lofty, but he needs some help. It's hard to achieve that goal on his own. And Luo Qiushuang's talent improved. After practicing the appropriate techniques, one's strength can rapidly increase, and soon they can become his assistant. Feng Shao made this request precisely because he took this into consideration. The Taiying Xuanming body is indeed an excellent furnace body, and the union can effectively address the side effects of the Taiying Xuanming body. But Feng Shao still looked down on playing this game. Hearing Feng Shao say this, Luo Qiushuang immediately realized she had misunderstood and couldn't help but blush deeply. He hesitated and said, "This matter, I need to discuss it with my father before I can make a decision." Feng Shao nodded slightly, understanding the reason. Then Feng Shao wrote a passage in the air and said that these incantations can temporarily alleviate the cold energy within you. Yuo Qiushuang immediately understood that this was Feng Shao demonstrating his sincerity. He was also telling Yuo Qiushuang that he indeed had a way to solve her physical condition. Yuo Qiushuang solemnly bowed to Feng Shao and said, "Thank you, young master." Yuo Chan was overjoyed when he learned about this from his daughter. In his view, the worst place in the upper domain is still far better than the best place in the lower domain. It is irresistible for our daughter to follow young Master Feng to the upper realm, the supreme opportunity. Although my daughter has left, she may never return. But a parent's love for their child is profound and far-reaching. As long as my daughter can have a bright and expansive future, then this cost is worth it. The next day, Luo Qian and Bayan announced this decision in the Great Hall. Unexpectedly, just after he announced this decision, an inconspicuous outer disciple suddenly appeared and loudly reprimanded the sect master and the elders. Feng Shao also witnessed the scene, but he did not take it to heart. He has seen his fair share of reckless young people, especially after meeting Yi Chen. He felt that no matter what kind of oddity appeared before him, he wouldn't be surprised at all. However, upon learning that this kid is actually named Yi Fan, Xiao Feng's expression became somewhat off. Could this be another child of grace? Chapter 52. A Fair Fight. Yi Fan. It might be the most cliché protagonist name ever. In Feng Shao's impression, he had at least read 13 novels where Yi Fan was the protagonist. Goodness, one Yi Chen in prison, another Yi Fan in prison. I've poked the Yi family's nest. Moreover, this guy is quite interesting when he talks. What does Yi Chen mean? What does it mean to sell a girl for glory? They only decided to let their daughter follow Feng Shao to the upper prison to resolve her health issues and hope for her better growth. But what benefits do the flies gain from this? Is this what you call selling women for glory? However, Yi Fan seemed completely uninterested in reasoning about this matter. He was fully immersed in his protagonist aura. With righteous indignation and a commanding presence, he stood ready to eradicate all injustices in the world. But Feng Shao knew the temperament of such a person. This guy. Clearly, it was her elegant demeanor that caught their attention. He glanced at Yi Fan's hands and indeed saw a black ring on the right index finger. Clearly, this is a child with the essence of a portable grandfather template. And it was this old man in the ring who noticed Luo Qiushuang's outstanding demeanor. So, is it time for someone to step up? Sure enough, after Yi Fan made an impassioned speech, a young man in black emerged. He waved his long spear, pointing its tip at Yi Fan, and shouted, "Yi Fan, you are merely an outer sect disciple. What qualification do you have to question the master's decision?" Yi Fan laughed. "Your Highness, are you really going to grovel to this mysterious person? It's truly laughable." Yu, Prince, in great anger, turned to Luo Tian and said, "Master, please allow your disciple to take action and teach this ignorant fellow a lesson." Luo Tian nodded in agreement, and the prince was overjoyed. He then turned around and smiled at Yi Fan. "Yi Fan, Yi Fan, you refuse to take the path to heaven and instead barge into hell. Since you are so ungrateful, don't blame me for being rude." Yi Fan snorted coldly and said, "Stop talking nonsense, bring it on." Through the eyes of Lingmu Tongxuan, Feng Xiao has already realized that Yi Fan is merely at the Tongmai realm, while the prince has already entered the Xiantian with a significant difference of a whole realm between them. The sword of true cultivation has always been helpful in striking three paths. The teachings of the immortal sky martial arts of observation. The celestial realm consists of 5 levels, requiring the cultivation of weapons. Each successfully forged weapon can elevate 1 level. As for the order of cultivating weapons, it varies according to different mental techniques, generally distinguished by their 5 elemental attributes. The heart contains the divine, the energy cultivated belongs to fire, which buries the soul, the energy cultivated belongs to wood, which buries the intention, the energy cultivated belongs to earth, which conceals the spirit, the energy cultivated belongs to metal, which stores the essence, the energy cultivated belongs to water. Only after the weapon is refined can one nurture a breath of celestial energy, the creation of yin and yang. Truly, embarking on the path of cultivation, the realm of meridians lays the foundation for the realm of immortals. To forge a weapon, one must first open the meridians, then unblock the 12 primary meridians and the 8 extraordinary vessels to ensure the weapon flows smoothly. Therefore, the gap between Tongmai and Xiantian is quite large, and the possibility of cross-boundary challenges basically does not exist. Even Feng Xiao himself was not confident in crossing the boundary to challenge the immortal realm while in the channeling realm. But if Yi Fan had a grandpa helping him cheat, that would be a different story. Feng Xiao glanced at the sycophantic Luo Qiushuang beside him and whispered, "What about this Yi Fan? Are we that familiar with each other?" Luo Qiushuang shook her head and said, "I only know that Yi Fan is an outer sect disciple, and because of his poor talent, he is often bullied in the outer sect. I had seen a few outer disciples bullying Yi Fan, and since I couldn't stand it, I scolded them a few times. Aside from that, I have had little interaction with junior brother Yi Fan." Feng Xiao nodded slightly as if deep in thought. It's not surprising that Yi Fan would have such thoughts about Luo Qiushuang. After all, this senior sister is beautiful and kind-hearted, and she has helped him several times. He must have a crush on her. But the problem is, having a crush doesn't mean you can make decisions for them. What you call frankness is clearly just your own sentimental delusion. But Feng Xiao had seen similar situations before. The protagonist, starting from humble beginnings, is rescued by the kind-hearted heroine during a time of bullying. Then the protagonist rises and sees the help the heroine gave him back then as a sign of her affection, so he naturally confesses his feelings. Then they fell in love and decided to be together for life. Foreigners causing trouble, 2 people eloping unaware. Feng Xiao has already scratched out a 1,000,000-word novel in his mind. At that moment of distraction, the duel between Yi Fan and the prince had already concluded with a victor. This child can actually fight across the street. Truly terrifying. What a good boy. Given some time, he will certainly not be a mere fish in the pond. Strange, why can't I discern this kid's level? Is he at the Tong-mai realm or the Xiantian realm? This kid Yifan has probably hidden his true abilities. It's truly unexpected. At this moment, the prince had already fallen to the ground in the great hall, a stain of blood on the chest. Yifan stood before the prince, holding a long knife and pointing its tip at him, while the prince pointed back at Yifan. Trembling, he said, "You actually managed to defeat me. This is impossible, absolutely impossible." Yifan scoffed. "It's just the realm of the immortal heavens. What is difficult to deal with? Today I'll teach you a lesson to understand that teachers must not be insulted." Feng Shao couldn't help but endure in his uniform, not knowing why. Seeing this scene, he felt especially ashamed. Sigh, how did I manage to get through such a storyline back then? After dealing with the prince, Yifan naturally turned his gaze towards Feng Shao. He brandished his long knife, pointing at Feng Shao, and shouted fiercely, "Dare you suppress your realm and fight me fairly?" Everyone couldn't help but turn their gaze to Feng Shao, who was lazily seated in the chair. Feng Shao curled his lips into a faint smile and asked softly why. Yifan stood upright. What reason was there? He just couldn't stand Feng Shao and wanted to beat him up to vent his frustration. But this reason is simply impossible to say. He rolled his eyes and sarcastically said, "What now?" "You wouldn't dare." Feng Shao shook his head, denouncing the poor provocation tactic. "Too childish." Yifan's expression darkened. "Less nonsense. If you're afraid, just say it. I won't laugh at you." Feng Shao lazily said, "I dare not. The one who truly doesn't dare is you. Otherwise, why do you insist on me suppressing my realm to fight you? If you truly dare, it should be a war without any additional conditions. When you say the words suppressing the realm, you have already lost." Yifan's face turned red, speechless. Yuo Qiushuang suddenly spoke up and scolded, "Enough! Yifan, what else do you want to say? How long are you going to keep this up? My business is none of your concern. No need to trouble yourself. You speak up for me." Feng Shao Wan Nian couldn't help but shake my head. This sounds fine. Yuo Qiushuang also expressed her thoughts. But to the ears of someone who is usually self-assured, it sounds like a different version, just as Feng Shao had guessed. Upon hearing Yuo Qiushuang's reprimand, Yifan felt joy instead of worry. He secretly thought that Qiushuang indeed had feelings for him. He only said that because he was worried I would get hurt by this guy. "Yifan, oh Yifan, he has treated you this way, how can you not save him from the sea of fire?" He straightened his expression and said to Feng Shao, "You're just relying on your higher level than mine. Aren't you afraid that you won't be able to match me in the same realm? If you seek gratitude, then you must not be so timid." Feng Shao sighed and waved his hand to stop Yuo Qiushuang from speaking further. "Stand up and say, 'All right.' Then I will do as you wish and fight you at the suppressed realm." Yifan felt overjoyed and couldn't help but show a smile of triumph on his face. Feng Shao walked down and casually drew a long sword. He said softly, "Just use this ordinary spiritual energy, so you won't say that I bully you by relying on my weapons. Now, while the fight hasn't started yet, quickly think about what conditions you want to propose, to avoid making excuses later when we lose." As soon as these words were spoken, many people burst into laughter. Indeed, challenging others while expecting them to suppress their potential. Such things sound childish and ridiculous. Yifan was furious, his face turning red as he shouted, "Stop with the nonsense. Watch out," before the words even finished. Fan had already swung his knife towards Feng Shao. Fan's move was extraordinary. The power is extraordinary. To strike like this with the realm of meridian passage is truly remarkable. But that is for ordinary people. However, Feng Shao, who had mastered the 36 sword techniques of freedom, would never take such swordplay seriously. With a casual swing of his sword, he deflected Fan's blade. At the same time, Feng Shao yawned and said to finish up quickly, "I'm a bit tired. The memory hasn't fully integrated, so he can't sleep at all." Originally, Ziyu could go days and nights without sleep, and it was nothing unusual. Yet the merging of memories puts a tremendous burden on the mind. This has caused Feng Shao to feel unmotivated these past few days. Fan heard this and thought Feng Shao was looking down on him. Suddenly frustrated, he thought to himself, "Master, please lend me a helping hand." In the next moment, Fan felt a surge of power spreading from the ring throughout his body, and his aura suddenly increased. Feng Shao sneered coldly as Fan suddenly drew his knife and struck down with a powerful three-wave slash toward Feng Shao. This move exudes a powerful momentum, far beyond what can be achieved in the realm of connecting meridians. The onlookers all recognized how impressive this move was. Someone couldn't help but exclaim, but Feng Shao stepped back, sword across his chest, and shouted loudly for assistance. Fan sneered, "So are you going to admit defeat?" Feng Shao ignored him and said lightly, "I didn't expect a prominent senior to resort to such harmful actions in this case. Aren't you afraid of being ridiculed by the world?" Hearing this, everyone couldn't help but feel curious. Who is Feng Shao referring to? Fan felt a sudden jolt in his heart and awkwardly asked, "What do you mean by that?" Feng Shao still ignored him and said, "I hope the senior will show themselves." Fan shouted loudly, "What senior experts are there? Could it be you?" Before he could finish speaking, Feng Shao had already taken out something black and oily from his storage ring, which looked unremarkable, like a brick. Coldly said, "Senior, if I don't make an appearance, then I'll have to force you to show yourself with my 7-spiral array evil seal." This time, Feng Shao's words finally had an effect as a wisp of white smoke emerged from Fan's right index finger. Then, to everyone's astonishment, it gradually condensed into a figure that cupped its hands towards Feng Shao. He helplessly said, "I didn't expect you to be so surprised, young master. I must say I'm impressed." Feng Shao merely smiled faintly, without speaking to the figure, and instead looked at Fan, sneering, "Is this what you call a fair fight?" Chapter 53, The Accompanying Grandpa. Fan's face turned red from Feng Shao's words, but not from shame, rather from anger. The onlookers' gazes toward Fan shifted from respect and admiration to disdain, which could be seen as a kind of convergence of divergent paths. Actually, in the battle at the boundary of suppression, it's not impossible to refine the true cultivation ring again. But usually it's like this. Usually only used for teaching, such as a master teaching a disciple or a senior brother guiding a junior brother, and so on. Suppressing the boundary is meant to allow the one being taught to understand the application of skills and techniques more thoroughly, rather than giving the other party a chance to defeat oneself. When Fan shouted for a fair battle to suppress the realm just now, many people didn't think of this point at that moment. It was not until this moment that some people gradually sensed something was off. Is it appropriate to ask the other party to suppress their realm in a situation that provokes them? After intelligence reclaimed its stronghold, many people showed a pensive expression. The behavior of the crowd seemed strange. But Feng Shao had already noticed some clues. Actually, the main purpose of this battle is experimentation. What methods can be developed to more efficiently harvest the essence? Originally, Yifan's aura was like a precious clock, even slightly surpassing Yichen. After Feng Xiao broke the opponent's tactics, his aura transformed into a light purple color. It has dropped significantly compared to before. Tian Huiyujian's subtly revealed its joy to Feng Xiao after absorbing a large amount of essence from Yi Fan. Yi Fan stood quietly under the gazes of the crowd, remaining silent for a moment. In anger, I said, "My ring is my treasure. Magic treasures are also a part of combat strength. Is there a problem with what I'm doing? If you want to blame someone, blame yourself for not having a good magical tool." Yifan thought this made sense, but he saw Feng Xiao looking at him with a mocking expression, then turned to the illusory figure, shaking his head and laughing, "Senior, it seems that this destined person has never considered you as a human being." The ethereal figure is that of an old man, with white hair, exuding a sense of being a wise elder. The old man's expression became somewhat unpleasant due to Yifan's words. He first glanced at Yifan, then saluted Feng Xiao with a sigh, lamenting that Laitu was naive and reckless in speech. "Please forgive me, young master." Feng Xiao nodded, watching the old man deep in thought. Even after Yifan said such outrageous things, the old man still spoke well of his disciple. Feng Xiao detected some clues. It seemed that the old man had no choice but to rely on Yifan for some reason, to the extent that he tried to protect Yifan in his words, not daring to offend him. Additionally, the old man had no choice but to submit to Feng Xiao. This is what you do, after all. The brick in Feng Xiaoshu's hand is not a toy. The Kixuan array evil seal, along with the Huangyi seal and the Xuanji seal, is known as one of the three great divine seals of the world. The man who has been imprisoned may not recognize it, but this old man has come from prison and certainly knows the value of things. Don't be fooled by the seemingly unremarkable seven-spiral array. It's a divine artifact specifically designed to deal with soul-harming spirits. This object was once used to suppress one of the 10 forbidden grounds, the Yuanlin Sea, preventing the myriad ghosts of the Yuanlin Sea from encroaching for 1,000 years. At the moment I saw the seven spiral formation's evil seal, I couldn't help but be secretly astonished, not knowing where this young man came from to possess such a divine artifact. Could it be an outstanding figure from a holy place or an ancient family? In fact, Feng Xiao's ability to obtain the seven spiral formation's evil seal was due to a twist of fate. Who would have thought that among so many who fell in the Sansheng Tower, there would be one marked with the seven spiral formation's evil seal? Feng Xiao originally intended to directly suppress the old man, as he was the golden finger of the son of Kai Yan, which would allow for a quick harvest of Kai Yan. But then Feng Xiao remembered another thing. He still hadn't found the passage from the lower prison to the upper prison. According to reason, a child of the aura who appears in prison will eventually make their way to the upper realm. The means to ascend to the upper prison are mostly in the hands of the accompanying elder. With a single thought, the heart filled with longing suddenly awakened, and the original plan of suppression immediately turned into a desire to recruit. He politely clasped his hands to the elder and said, "Senior, you flatter me, since you can conceal your soul within the ring." Surely, before the fall, it had already reached the time of tribulation. The old man said that those are all things of the past. Now, he is just a lonely ghost and truly unworthy of being called a predecessor. Feng Xiao shook his head and said, "Senior, why be so humble? Even in prison, the realm of tribulation is truly a formidable power. As a junior, I have had the fortune of meeting a few seniors who have crossed the tribulation realm, and I know that those who reach this level are truly extraordinary talents among thousands." The elder, flattered by Feng Xiao, stroked his beard and remarked, "Young master, with your graceful demeanor and humble treatment of others, it truly leaves one in awe." The two were flattering each other in business, but Yifan couldn't stand it any more. He pointed the tip of his knife at Feng Shao and shouted, "Don't think that just because you're flattering my master will fall for your tricks. Put that away." Feng Shao shook his head at Yi Fan and instead said to the elder, "Senior, may I ask why you ended up in the rain?" The old man sighed and said, "This matter is truly not something to be spoken of lightly." Feng Shao, curious, asked, "Is there something difficult to say?" The old man gave a bitter smile and did not answer. Yi Fan was still dazed and said. Suddenly Liu Qiushuang, who had been silent all along, said coldly, "Yi Fan, this canyon Great Hall is not a place for your nonsense. If you continue to cause trouble, don't blame me for not showing consideration for our shared sect." What sounded like a reprimand to a normal person felt like protection for Yi Fan. Yi Fan felt a pang in his heart and thought, "Qiu Shuang, why won't you believe that I can take you away from this suffering? What does it matter if someone is of the golden core stage? I, Yi Fan, consider myself no weaker than anyone. Just wait. You'll soon find out who truly cares about you in this world." But at this moment, with the trump cards already revealed by the wind whistle, Yi Fan could only glare hatefully at Feng Shao, silently pleading with his master to take him away from this place. The old man, happily chatting with the wind, couldn't help but shake his head upon hearing Yi Fan's transmission, honestly admitting that if he had other options, he wouldn't choose someone like Yi Fan as a disciple. Yi Fan has ordinary talent. Even under his training, he's only slightly superior to cultivators of the same level. Otherwise, he wouldn't need to suppress his realm during provocations. Although Qi Mingming's own strength was lacking, this kid had no self-awareness, was impulsive and easily angered, often resorting to bullying and readily provoking others to gamble. Whenever he encounters an opponent he can't handle, he calls on the old man for help, who, valuing his pride, disapproves of such cheating methods. Helplessly, the old man had no choice but to comply with Yi Fan. But over time, Yi Fan seemed to have mastered the secret to victory, increasingly relying on his master. At this moment, Feng Shao suddenly said sincerely, "Since you are someone from the same place as me, why seek far when you have someone close?" The old man showed hesitation on his face. He couldn't deny that he was tempted. Yi Fan noticed this and couldn't help but be shocked, quickly shouting, "Master, don't believe his nonsense. This person is sinister and cunning. How can his words be trusted?" The old man frowned and glanced at Yi Fan with displeasure. As the saying goes, one's appearance reflects one's heart. Feng Shao has always been easygoing, thus respectful. There is a certain noble demeanor about him. Not everything said is entirely true, but he is certainly more trustworthy than someone like Yi Fan, who enjoys cheating. However, in front of so many people, the old man really couldn't scold Yi Fan. "I can only say to Feng Shao, your disciple has spoken disrespectfully. If I have offended you, please forgive me." Seeing the elder's demeanor, Feng Shao understood he had said enough. He smiled and said, "If it is meant to stay, it will. If not, it will go. It is just a pity that the elder's bright pearl has been cast into darkness." With that, Feng Shao turned to Luo Tian and said, Luo Tian said, "Young master, you are being too polite. Please feel free to speak." Feng Shao said, "Although this senior and I have no acquaintance, I hold great admiration for him. Since Yi Fan is this senior's disciple, I ask Luo Tian to let him go on account of this senior." Although Feng Shao spoke on behalf of the elder, in reality, when he said this, Luo Tian could only consider Feng Shao's request. Qi Feng, however, did not bow because of this, which only increased the goodwill of the crowd. The old man had no choice but to fulfill this personal favor. So, many times, the skill of speaking is truly important. Yuo Jian nodded. Since young master Feng said so, why not let Yi Fan off the hook? Saying this, he waved at Yi Fan. "As for Yi Fan, you may go. Don't forget, This time you are being let go for the sake of your master and young Master Feng. Starting today, you are no longer a disciple of Kangyan sect, and Kangyan sect no longer welcomes you." Yifan's expression was extremely grim as he instinctively glanced at Luo Qishuang, only to see her face. Luo Hanchuang turned her gaze aside, unwilling to look at Yifan, but Yifan felt a great sense of comfort in his heart. Seeing me in such a sorry state, he couldn't bear it. Thinking of this face, he grew even more resentful towards Feng Shao, and with a flick of his sleeve, he said to his master, "Let's go," the old man said, only able to clasp his hands towards young Master Feng, bitterly smiling and saying, "Young Master Feng, we shall meet again." Young Master Feng also clasped his hands in return, replying, "We shall meet again." The old man transformed into a wisp of white smoke and returned to Yifan's ring. Yifan turned around and transformed under the gazes of everyone. With his head held high, he left, and as he watched Yifan's departing figure, Feng Shao revealed a hint of a smile. Such an opportunity that came knocking should not be easily let go. Chapter 54: The Chase. Luo Qishuang said with a face full of shame, "Young Master Feng helped me suppress the hidden dangers within, yet others misunderstood him, leaving me feeling uneasy." Chapter 13: Pursuit. Although Feng Shao expressed his intention to take Luo Qishuang as his disciple, and both Luo Qishuang and her father shared this sentiment, it was still inappropriate to address them as master and disciple, as Luo Qishuang had not yet undergone the ceremony of apprenticeship. Feng Shao smiled and said, "There's no need for that. Yifan's offense against me may not be out of righteous words, but rather he is likely coveting your physique." Luo Qishuang said, in confusion, "Please speak plainly, young master." Feng Shao explained, "Your Taiying Xuanbing body, while it causes you constant suffering from cold, is a rare and excellent furnace for others. No, although this may be somewhat offensive, I must remind you that if a man merges with the Taiying Xuanbing body, it can greatly enhance his cultivation and also alleviate the hidden dangers of the Taiying Xuanbing body. Although Yifan couldn't see your special physique, his master from the upper mountain might be able to see it." Luo Qishuang's face first turned red, then became ashen. "This means that Yifan's performance today was due to his ulterior motives towards me." Feng Shao didn't say it outright, but suggested that perhaps I am being overly suspicious. "Perhaps Yifan is truly trying to repay your kindness for helping him. It's hard to say." Luo Qishuang shook her head. "There's no need for the young master to make excuses for Yifan anymore. In the situation where the young master suppressed the realm and faced Jai Yi, Yifan resorted to despicable means. His character was truly lacking, and seeing the disdain on Luo Qishuang's face, it seemed she was unwilling to accept it. Feng Shao kindly reminded me that even though I said to spare Yifan, it doesn't include others." Luo Qishuang was taken aback at first. Then joy filled her eyes as she quickly bowed and said, "Thank you for the reminder, young master." After saying that, Luo Qishuang hurriedly left. In the days that followed, Feng Shao was merging memories while learning about the situation in prison. The prison is simply too vast, several times larger than the upper prison, and even Kang Yingmen, one of the top 10 sects of the southern prison, is not fully aware of many situations. Feng Shao was somewhat disappointed. He had promised Feng Ling that he would return after studying for a few months, but given the current situation, it seemed he wouldn't be back for years. If a master goes against their own silence, how can they hold their head high in front of their disciples in the future? As Feng Shao pondered how to return to prison, Yifan went through the most painful time of his life ever since he gained the old man's golden finger. His ambitions soared, and he even looked down on many true prodigies. After all, within his ring, There was an old predecessor who originally belonged to Du Jian, and Du Jian has reached a legendary status in the entire lower house. There was a highly esteemed master who became his support, allowing Yi Fan to gradually develop a ruthless approach to his actions, often crippling others by destroying their danshan and damaging their meridians in battles. Even the people from the Demon Gate sect were filled with admiration, and the old man residing in the ring gradually developed dissatisfaction with Yi Fan for this reason. Before cultivation, one must focus on refining the heart. This is the unchanging truth of the entire cultivation world. The old man, as a once great practitioner of purity, deeply understood that bloodthirsty and murderous individuals usually cannot achieve true enlightenment and are instead easily defeated by their own inner demons. Yifan gave the old man the impression that his mindset was too narrow, so narrow that even a few insults from others would drive him to want to kill their entire family. He just didn't dare to say anything more after eating all that. The old man said that in the realm of cultivation, conflicts and battles are common, and struggles for life and death are often seen, but those who risk their lives do so for reasons that compel them to. But Yifan, you can just do whatever you want. Do you really think the cultivation ring is your vegetable garden, where you can pick any vegetable you like? When I was clean that year, I wasn't as carefree as you are. The elder felt he was more like Yifan's nanny than his master, feeling exhausted. In these past few days, Yifan, having left the fly gate, seems to have completely let go of himself. In the small town at the foot of the mountain, trouble was everywhere, and within a few days several noble youths, including the city lord's only son, had been beaten, even causing harm to their internal energy. Destroying someone's future is as unforgivable as killing their parents. How can one endure this? The lord's residence immediately issued a kill order for Yifan, and for the next few days Yifan spent his time constantly on the run. With the old man's help, Yifan escaped to a forest 100 miles away, where he found a cave to recuperate while angrily muttering about how fortunes change every 30 years. Yifan said, "My little brothers, in the end, when I become powerful, I will surely kill all of you guys." The old man, weary and unwilling to speak, thought that after escaping here he could rest peacefully for a while, but unexpectedly, a few hours later, someone caught up to him. Chasing behind were all disciples of Canyon sect, led by Luo Qiusheng, the son of Luo Tian and the brother of Luo Qiushuang. After Luo Qiushuang complained to her brother about Yifan's actions, a murderous intent immediately appeared in Luo Qiusheng's eyes. "What a scoundrel, daring to covet my sister! Sister, you're asking for trouble." Luo Qiusheng did not hesitate, and immediately set out with a large group to search for Yifan's whereabouts. After learning that Yifan had escaped into the jungle, he immediately led his men in pursuit, and soon found Yifan in a cave. Luo Qiusheng pointed at Yifan and shouted, "You little brat, just a mere outer disciple, yet you dare to covet my sister and want to use her as a furnace top, you wretched dog. Today I must make you regret living in this world." With that, Luo Qiusheng called out and led everyone into battle. Yifan faced Luo Qiusheng's accusation, first with a fierce expression, then in shock, unable to help but exclaim, "How did you know?" "Old man, this disciple must be lacking in common sense." Luo Qiusheng became even angrier, launching a series of attacks while cursing, "You toad, how dare you think you can eat swan meat? Today I have to make you understand that some people are beyond your reach." Luo Qiusheng's realm is a level above Yifan, plus he has the hand style. He shot a glance at Yifan directly. While dodging, he shouted, "What kind of skill is it to bully the weak with the strong? If you have the skill to suppress the realm, fight me fairly." Luo Qiusheng sneered, "Don't tell me you're still a fool. This isn't a spar. It's a life and death battle, and you're actually asking me to suppress my realm. After I suppress the boundary, I fear that in the next moment you'll have to call upon your shameful master for help. Old man, you can fight all you want, but why did you involve me in the fire?" But the old man knew he was in the wrong. After all, he resorted to cheating in what should have been a fair fight. I don't even dare to say this sentence. It's indeed quite disgraceful to say. The old man was once a respected and powerful figure, and if this were to get out, he wouldn't be able to show his face to any one. Yifan did not think that much. Seeing the other party approaching aggressively, he had no choice but to call out for his master to lend him a hand. The old man, after all, shared a symbiotic relationship with Yifan and could not stand by and watch him be beaten to death, so he had to lend a hand. Yifan's realm is low, even though he practices ancient techniques and his combat strength far exceeds others at the same level. His low realm is a hard flaw that is difficult to overcome. After the old man's spirit possessed him, he could indeed, enhancing one's combat power to a higher realm, but that's all. Faced with so many enemies, the improved strength could only allow Yifan to barely hold his ground against them. After fighting for a while longer, the sword could not prevail, and the old man had no choice but to open a teleportation array and hurriedly took Yifan away. Yet Yifan's mouth was still not honest. Before leaving, he shouted, 30 years east of the river, 30 years west of the river. In the end, the young will be poor, but I will return. If Feng Xiao were here, he would probably be unable to resist commenting on how you, the child of grace, are stealing our villain's lines. After the escape, Yifan dragged his battered body and found a cave in the desolate mountains to rest for a while. After hastily bandaging the wound, he couldn't help but curse loudly. After scolding for a while, Yifan asked his master in confusion, "How did Liu Qisheng know about Qiu Shuang's special constitution?" The old man sighed and said that it's hard to tell those who go to prison, but those who come out are not always the same. The demeanor of that wind was extraordinary, clearly stemming from a prestigious lineage of righteous sects, and it was reasonable for them to possess insights beyond the ordinary. Yifan suddenly realized that. Qiu Shuang's physique was noticed by Feng Xiao, so it can be said that these people were also encouraged by Feng Xiao to come. The old man felt otherwise in his heart, but he didn't understand Feng Xiao's character, so he could only remain silent. Yifan realized the truth and couldn't help but curse this guy, not only stealing senior sister Qiu Shuang from him, but also encouraging so many people to hunt him down. HMPH truly a hypocritical saint. The old man remained silent, and after a while of recuperation, Yifan couldn't help but ask his master that this way wasn't a solution. Yuo Qiusheng's people won't take long. They will still chase after me. I must quickly improve my strength, or I won't even have the ability to protect myself. After a moment of silence, the old man said, in this area, about 500 to 600 li to the east, there is a faint purple aura rising to the sky as if a celestial talent or earthly treasure is about to emerge. Perhaps this is your chance. Yifan was overjoyed, unable to contain himself as he stood up and gazed toward the east, feeling invigorated. Once I obtain the genius treasure and enhance my strength, I will make Feng Xiao pay. 30 years east of the river, 30 years west of the river. In the end, the youth is poor. Elder, can we not mention this anymore? Chapter 55, Chance Encounter. On a large tree, Yifan was crouching on a branch, trying to hide as much as possible, while below, a group of disciples dressed in Kangyan sect attire was searching around. After a while, the disciples of Kangyan sect gave up their search and continued on, while Yifan finally breathed a sigh of relief. These days of hiding and seeking have already lasted a month. During this month, people from Kangyan sect were looking for him, people from the city lord's mansion were looking for him, and even many wandering cultivators were searching for him, forcing him to hide continuously. The people of Canyon sect live like monkeys, thinking of this, Yifan's heart filled with resentment, wishing he could return to Canyon sect and tear Feng Shao to shreds. Yes, he believes that he ended up in this situation because of Feng Shao. If it weren't for Feng Shao's covetous heart towards his Qiu Shuang, how could he have been expelled from the Canyon sect? If it weren't for the wind's deception, would the Canyon sect keep sending people to look for him? If it weren't for the wind whistle that alerted the city lord's residents, would they have issued a bounty to capture him? In short, all responsibility lies with Feng Shao. Although there is no evidence to prove that Feng Shao did it, Yifan firmly believes that Feng Shao's influence is definitely behind this. Yifan took out some dry rations from his storage ring, chewing while muttering angrily, "Feng Shao, just you wait. Once I get through this ordeal, I will make you pay. I'll make you understand what it means to disrespect a teacher." The old man sighed and said about Yifan, "Let's not discuss whether it was that wind whistle who ordered people to chase you. Have you ever considered that there might be a reason related to you in this?" Yifan asked in confusion, "What reason could I have?" The old man replied, "You recklessly destroy others' dantians, harm their meridians, and cut off their futures. If it were you, could you tolerate it?" Yifan scoffed, saying that they provoked him first, and he was merely forced to fight back. A man must repay kindness and avenge grievances, otherwise, if one is not clear-minded, they should understand the principle that those who lose perish. The old man sighed and fell silent, although Yifan's confrontation was indeed provoked by someone else first. "Yifan, Yifan! Yifan, 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 Yifan! Yifan!" These people not only have profound realms, work like a mad dog, too difficult to handle. How difficult it is. Yifan let out a sigh. "These people bully me when I'm alone, fighting without any martial ethics. They rush up all at once. Once again, it's the strong bullying the weak. Once again, it's a case of the many bullying the few. It's truly shameless. This should be quite normal, right? After all, you can take someone away. The heir of the Lord's mansion has had his dantian destroyed. I'd ask you, which side are you really on?" Yifan was getting a bit impatient. Subconsciously, looked towards the direction of the sound. Then I saw. Feng Shao was sitting on the other side of the branch, smiling at oneself. "Yifan, this die. Why did I end up here?" Yifan thought without hesitation. Immediately draw the black long knife. Whispering, he greeted his master. "Give me a helping hand." "Old man, Sai, I really don't want to hear this again." The old man ignored Yifan, but came out of the ring. Feng Shao cupped his hands in greeting. "Speaking of, the young master has appeared here. Is there something wrong?" Feng Shao shrugged. "I noticed the dense forest to the east. It seems that a genius treasure is about to emerge. So come over and take a look." Yifan was instantly furious. That day was extraordinary. "It's mine." Feng Shao shook his head. "Genius treasure. Those with fate shall dwell there. I want. You want it too. Over there. Let's see who has more skills." Yifan gritted his teeth and said, "You clearly have everything. Why are you still fighting me for this genius treasure?" Feng Shao pretended to ask in confusion. Brothers, your words. I just don't understand. What does it mean to snatch? This day is a treasure, but it is a forsaken thing, isn't it? Whoever grabs it gets to keep it." Yifan was instantly speechless. "He intends to kill the wind whistle here. Alas, the old man! I have already told Yi Fan, even if it is. The old man appeared. Yi Fan could not possibly be Feng Xiao's opponent. After all, the 7 whirlwind formations in the wind whistle. This is no joke. So, despite feeling frustrated inside, Yi Fan could only endure. But just endure it. It's not really Yi Fan's style. At the very least, we need to throw out a few harsh words. But as soon as he opened his mouth, the wind whistled as it spoke to the old man. Speaking of the senior, the silence created by the younger generation last time, still valid, if the senior wants to return to the previous language, even reshape the body. Younger generations can find a way, solving problems for my senior. Yi Fan was so angry he nearly spat out blood. Spit it out. Where is there someone who digs at others' shortcomings so openly? Are you still being unreasonable? The old man hesitated for a moment. He just shook his head. Thank you for your kindness, young master. But the hunter is still unbearable. As a master craftsman, there is no way to just abandon the hunter like this. Please forgive me, young master. Feng Xiao sighed. Since that's the case, then I won't force the request. Finished speaking. Feng Xiao jumped up immediately. Encounter with the one who flew away. Watching the back of Feng Xiao leaving, Yi Fan couldn't help it. Spat on the ground. Hypocrite. Old man, I feel this disciple. This is becoming more and more outrageous. Since the old man can see, a genius treasure will emerge from the east. Feng Xiao, bearing the imperial plum blossom scissors. How could I not see it? And he had already guessed. Yi Fan would definitely not miss this opportunity. Inevitably, they will come to seek out genius treasures. Even if he doesn't have this thought, Jian Dao, it will also create opportunities. Let him have this thought. As for encountering Yi Fan on the road, actually it's a coincidence. On the windy road. It was brought over by the heavenly flower scissors. As they passed by Yi Fan's vicinity, the group hidden among the treetops, light purple aura, attracted the attention of the wind whistle. The wind whistled down as I looked. Indeed, I saw Yi Fan, with the ability of the wind whistle. Naturally, I can easily take care of Yi Fan. However, the memories of fusion told him, slay the son of Kai Yun. It's not a good option. When the child of Kai Yun was alive, various means can be used to harvest the aura. But what if the child of Kai Yun dies? So his aura. It will return to the way of heaven, once again bestowed by the way of heaven, on the other children of the other aura. In other words, slay the son of Kai Yun. It is best to capture the essence. Only proceed after the harvest is complete. Otherwise, the unharvested aura will enhance the aura of the other children. The son of the wind whistle I encountered later. It will also become increasingly difficult to deal with. Furthermore, the child of Kai Yun killed casually. It's a pity. You won't gain any benefits. Better to keep it. First, gather a wave of aura. As for the method of harvesting the aura, it's actually quite simple. Just seize the opportunity and use your luck. So, the wind whistle will follow the old man. There was a conversation like this. Too much of anything is as bad as not enough. The time has not yet come. Let the old man switch jobs now. It's not realistic either, but he can start with a few words. Sow discord between the master and disciple, as long as there is a rift between the master and disciple. So, Yi Fan's golden finger. It will also become, it's not working as well anymore. Indeed, after these few sentences, the wind whistle soon discovered. Yi Fan's aura has changed from the original light purple, turned to deep red, looking again at Yi Fan's gaze. The wind whistle knows. How did this aura disappear? After casually reaping a wave of energy. The wind whistle foretold departure. Leave some room for Yi Fan to maneuver. After the wind whistle left, Yi Fan couldn't help but gave a harsh scolding to Feng Shao. The old man frowned involuntarily. Scolded Zio Fan. How did I use to tell you? The path of cultivation, if one cannot remain undisturbed by praise or blame, how can one reach a higher realm? What I said to you before. Have you forgotten all of it? Yi Fan cast an unhappy glance at the old man, but did not speak, but jumped down directly. He has figured it out now. This master clearly has a favorable impression of Feng Shao. I want to be stronger than him. This made Yi Fan extremely angry, but he didn't dare to say much. After all, the old man was his only support now. Fall out with the old man. For him, there's not a single benefit. He must bow his head. That's also impossible. He decided. Next, must take real action. Prove it to the master. Who is his support? He decided. Chapter 56. By Shuanghua, half an hour later, the wind whistle met the sky above the dense forest. Far away, he saw a swirl of red aura, hidden in the dense forest. It seems a great opportunity that the heavens have prepared for Yi Fan. It's just over there. Feng Shao didn't hesitate for long. Bayan Jingjai moved towards the location of the red aura, flew over. However, before he could take off, from afar they could hear the sounds of shouting and killing. Feng Shao was instantly filled with confusion. What is going on? Has someone stolen the foot lantern? Thinking of this space, Feng Shao hurried over. However, when he saw clearly what was happening in the dense forest, unintentionally brought in the dense forest, several men in black are surrounded by a girl in a blue dress. Relentless battles. However, although the girl faced many opponents alone, but Feng Shao saw it at a glance. The strength of those men in black, far inferior to a girl. Even if 5 or 6 people team up to attack, they are by no means a match for the girl. But that girl, despite her great strength, but it seems there is a severe lack of combat experience. There were several opportunities to eliminate the opponent, yet he always let her go. After another intense battle, the girl endured countless hardships. A man in black was slain, greatly relieved their own stress. However, the girl, was just a hint on her forehead. A serious expression appeared on the face. Prolonged battle that consumed a large amount of her true energy. At that moment, she felt completely weak all over. I wish I could just lie down right here. Tiger is sound asleep. However, facing the siege of so many enemies, she had to encourage herself to stay strong. The remaining man in black, although we are down one companion, but it seems completely unconcerned, still indifferent and unconcerned. Surrounded again, both sides immediately began to clash. A fight breaks out. Before long, another man in black, slain by a young girl. Originally, Feng Shao was still considering. Do you want to go down and lend a hand? Feng Shao had done this before, seeing injustice on multiple occasions. The matter of drawing the sword to help. Otherwise, I wouldn't be with Lin Zioren. Xiao Yunking, Feng Lin, Zhu, and others establish a connection. However, the young girl struggled to cope. Yet it is almost invincible. Feng Shao didn't want to go down. Mind your own business. Several people in fierce battle, completely unaware. At this moment, someone was far away. Observing this battle, the character fights for its life. After a while, as Feng Shao had anticipated earlier, The girl struggled to win this battle. All the men in black were slain by her, but to prevent someone from playing dead, although the girl was already extremely exhausted, but still holding on, walked up to each of the figures in black. The first meeting at its critical point, shot several arrows in succession. Feng Xiao saw this scene. I couldn't help but nod. Although this girl lacks battle experience, he is naturally quite cautious. But just at that moment, an accident happened, just as the girl reached the last person. When the man in black approached, the man in black suddenly rolled over. A clump of white powder, spilled by her. The girl was caught off guard, smeared all over my face. She couldn't help but let out a scream. He struck without hesitation. The man in black seemed to have exhausted the last bit of strength. Facing the arrow of the young girl, did not avoid. Instantly killed by an arrow. The girl crouched on the ground with her eyes covered, feeling both angry and anxious. She didn't expect. We won every fight. In the end, they capsized in the gutter. She only felt a burning pain in her eyes. I don't know either. What truly enters the eyes? What exactly is this special powder? Still alive as ash. Her only hope now. Just take care of your eyes. But soon after, she felt that something was off. For some reason, she suddenly felt a wave of heat throughout her body. Sweat on the forehead, descending layer by layer, borrowing too, a surge of heat. It rose from the lower abdomen out of nowhere. In the blink of an eye, it spread throughout my body. Then she felt certain parts of her body again. The cultivation of self-improvement has emerged, made her unable to resist. I want to reach out and grab it. Finally, in the moment of reaching out, she suddenly felt that something was wrong, quickly withdrew his hand, although here, seemingly deserted. But the nature of girls, but she had no way out. In the wilderness, such actions of self-cultivation. Feng Xiao saw this scene from afar, suddenly understood. The powder that the man in black sprinkled, most likely not a proper medicine powder. Looking at the girl's head, that deep crimson aura, Feng Xiao fell into deep thought. She almost understands now. These women with a red aura, it's mostly the heaven's fault. Arrange for the protagonist's female lead. Given the female protagonist's current situation, Feng Xiao had more or less figured it out. What will happen next? She looked up towards the direction she came from. Sure enough, I saw a ball, a faint, deep red aura, on their way here, with the pace of that red aura, in about the time it takes to burn a stick of incense. We can arrive here quickly after a stick of incense. It also happens to be on the girl, when the effects of the medicine are at their strongest. Without a doubt, the next plot, if nothing unexpected happens, it should have developed this way. At the peak of youthful desires, Yifan happened to arrive as the embodiment of justice. Son of our Kai Yun, without hesitation, decide to deepen the antidote. Rescue the victimized girl from danger. After rescuing the other party, transformed into Yifan's sycophant, helping all the way. Yifan achieves great success in his career, even if it costs the lives of the whole family. I will spare no effort. Feng Xiao couldn't help but click his tongue in amazement. This damn old heaven, in order for Yifan to rise. They put in a lot of effort. Even the female lead. They are all rushing to deliver it right to the door. Moreover, this method of gifting is quite special. Not only did it please Yifan, now someone owes Yifan a favor. This is truly wonderful. However, since Feng Xiao is here, nature will not allow the following developments, as heaven wishes. So, Feng Xiao likely leaped. fall to the ground. The young girl heard the noise. Just treat it as if enemies are coming again. Quickly turned around. Who is it? Because the powder dazzled the eyes. The girl couldn't open her eyes for a moment. Can only barely see through the gap of my eyes. Observe in conjunction with your ears. She faintly realized. The other party is a man dressed in blue. Appearance, however, is ultimately. I can't see clearly either. Feng Xiao shook his head. He said calmly, "Young lady, I see you seem to be poisoned. I should need help." The girl said breathlessly, "I don't need your help. Quickly get away." The girl reacted this way. It's not surprising. After all, she's not in a good state right now. I don't know either. The person who came is the enemy roommate. Out of caution, nature cannot easily accept help from others, especially the waves of heat continuously flowing through the body, and some unspeakable parts. An embarrassing feeling washes over. She has already vaguely guessed it. What poison is inside you? So, she cannot let any man get close to her. Feng Xiao didn't think much of it. Just talking about the young lady. The poison within your lock is quite fierce. I suggest it's best for you to detoxify as soon as possible. I estimate you have at most half an incense stick's worth of time left. It's time to go eat. To be robbed of one's senses by this poison. What will happen then is hard to say. The girl asked tremulously, "Who are you? Why do you want to help me?" Feng Xiao smiled faintly. "I'm just an ordinary person passing by. As for helping you, just destined to be with you. Of course. Do you accept? The choice is all yours. If the young lady insists, refusing to let me provide treatment, then you can leave immediately." The girl hesitated for a moment, finally gritted his teeth, said, "Since that's the case, then I shall entrust it to you, young master. If you, young master, can help this girl with the poison. Donjang City. White chicken, white chicken, white chicken," raved Dan. The girl is not foolish either. Given the current situation, we know there is basically no choice left. As for mentioning the Bai family of Donjang City, it's just a subtle reminder to the other person. There are people behind me. So, don't mess around either. Feng Xiao looked at the young girl with great interest. The girl's thoughts aren't very intricate, but with this experience, can think of these. It's already difficult to be distant. Feng Xiao said, "Here is an antidote pill. And just take it, young lady." Speaking, Feng Xiao took out an antidote pill, thrown to the girl. Young girl, after receiving the antidote pill, a hint of hesitation appeared on her face. But the next moment, a surge of warmth. From a young age, my belly surged straight to my mind, almost shattered her tenuous grasp on sanity. She knows. There is nothing left to choose from now. As soon as I opened my mouth, swallowed the detoxifying pill. Actually, the wind can also choose. After the girl was completely poisoned, Regenesis antidote, rescuing the young girl, but such opportunistic actions. Feng Xiao is relentless in his efforts. After the girl took the detox pill, then he sat down on the blind disc. Luck dissolves the power of medicine. As the surging heat flows through the body, gradually alleviated under the influence of the medicine, the girl has finally made up her mind. The person truly wants to help her. Not long after, the heat flow was completely dissipated. The girl wiped the sweat from her forehead. "Stand up." She bowed respectfully to Feng Xiao. Spoke. "I am Bai Shuanghua from the Bai family of Dongjiang City. Thank you, young master, for your heroic rescue." Feng Shui smiled lightly. said, "Miss Bai, no need to be polite. I happened to pass by here. Help the girl. It is also a matter of timing. Since the young lady has nothing to do, then I shall take my leave." Speaking, Feng Shao then cupped his hands in greeting. "Prepare, leave." Bai Shuang He saw this. He shouted quickly, "Young master, wait a moment." Giant Feng looked at himself with confusion. Bai Shuang He's face turned red, said softly, "May I ask for your name, young master?" The young lady was saved by the young master. Yet I do not know the benefactor's name. "Isn't that rude?" Feng Shao said, in the lower winds. "As for helping the girl detoxify, it's just a small effort on my part. Don't take it to heart, girl." Bai Shuang shook her head. "For the young master, it's a piece of cake. For a young woman, but it is a life-saving grace. If the young master is not angry, please come to the Beidia family in Dongjiang City as our guest. The Bai family will surely greet you warmly." Bai Shuanghua mentioned the Bai family of Dongjiang City 3 times in a row. Clearly, this family is in this area, having considerable power. Feng Shao pondered for a moment. "I have other important matters to attend to. After staying busy for a while, naturally I will visit." Bai Shuanghua couldn't help but ask, "I wonder what urgent matter you have, young master. Perhaps this young lady can help a little. Do you know, miss? There are some genius treasures about to emerge in this area.